Mama June, from not to hot. Josh leaves Pumpkin. Is their marriage finished? Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Mama June, from not to hot star Josh Eford is leaving Lauren Pumpkin Shannon after a nasty fight. Is this the end of their short marriage? Mama June, from not to hot. Pumpkin Shannon accuses Josh Eford of cheating on Mama June. From not to hot, Pumpkin Shannon talks about how she worries because her husband's coming home. This is because he's been away in South Carolina all week working. So she wants to make sure the house is perfectly clean and that he's got a great dinner waiting for him at home. However, things aren't going as planned when she realizes he's late coming home. After Josh Eford from Mama June, from not to hot finally gets home, Pumpkin gets physical with him. She purposefully bumps her shoulder into him to let him know she's mad as she's walking past him to give their daughter her dinner. Next, he asks her why she's in such a pissy mood. She starts yelling at him, saying it's because he's so late to dinner. Next, she asks him why he's never texting her back. On Mama June, from not to hot, Josh Eford goes on to say he doesn't hang out with any friends. He says as soon as he's off work, he goes back to where he's staying and sleeps. Pumpkin asks him where he was at 9 p.m. last night. Josh explains he was sleeping, but Pumpkin doesn't believe anyone goes to bed at 9 p.m. He goes on to explain he goes to bed that early because he's tired from working so hard. Wife kicks husband out of house on Mama June. From not to hot, Pumpkin Shannon's had enough with her husband's attitude. She says he needs to quarantine because he's been in another state. Pumpkin pushes her husband outside of their house and leaves him on the porch. He asks her if she's serious, and she responds by locking the door so he can't get in. Then on Mama June, from not to hot, Josh sits down in the lawn chair they've got on their front porch. He wipes sweat from his face and sighs. A few moments later, Pumpkin Shannon comes back out on the porch and leaves the meal she made him on the porch. Also, she angrily drops his drink down on the porch. After dropping off his meal, she locks the door again. Mama June, from not to hot, Josh Eford leaves Pumpkin Shannon on Mama June. From not to hot, Josh Eford is forced by Pumpkin Shannon to sleep out on the porch all night. That's because she believes he's cheating on her. The next morning, he walks into the house and starts talking to her. However, Pumpkin keeps flipping out on Josh. In the middle of their fight, he yells at her and walks out, saying asterisk 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 this. He walks off his property, leaving many wondering if this is the end of their marriage. Josh Eford sat on the edge of his bed, staring at his packed suitcase. The dim light of the bedside lamp cast long shadows across the room, accentuating the silence that had settled like a heavy fog. He could hear the faint sounds of his wife, Lauren Pumpkin Shannon, moving about in the kitchen, the clinking of dishes a stark contrast to the turmoil in his mind. Their marriage had been under strain for months, the pressures of family life and the chaos surrounding Mama June's troubles weighing heavily on them both. Josh had tried to be the supportive husband, but the constant drama had taken its toll. Pumpkin, for her part, had been stretched thin between caring for their daughter, Ella, and managing the fallout from her mother's erratic behavior. Josh stood up, the weight of his decision pressing down on him. He knew leaving wasn't the solution, but he needed space to clear his head. He needed to figure out if there was anything left to salvage in their marriage. "Pumpkin," he called out, his voice echoing in the quiet house. She appeared in the doorway, wiping her hands on a dish towel, her expression a mixture of confusion and concern. "What is it, Josh?" He took a deep breath, struggling to find the right words. "I need to go away for a while. I need to think." Pumpkin's eyes widened in shock. "Go away? What do you mean? Where are you going?" "I don't know yet," he admitted. "I just need some time to figure things out. Everything. It's too much." Tears welled up in Pumpkin's eyes. "Josh, you can't just leave. We need to work through this together." "I know," he said, his voice cracking. "But I can't do that right now. I need to find myself again. I need to be the man you married, and I can't do that here, not with everything that's been going on." Pumpkin's shoulders slumped, and she nodded reluctantly. How long will you be gone? I don't know, he repeated, but I promise I'll come back. I just need to clear my head. She reached out and took his hand, squeezing it tightly. I love you, Josh. Please come back to us. He pulled her into a hug, holding her close as he whispered, I love you too, Pumpkin. I'll be back. I just need to find a way to make things right. As Josh walked out the door, the reality of his decision hit him. He was leaving behind his family, his responsibilities, and the woman he loved. But he hoped that by doing so, he could find the strength to return and rebuild what had been broken. Josh drove aimlessly for hours, the miles stretching out behind him as he tried to process the whirlwind of emotions swirling in his mind. The open road offered a sense of freedom, but it also left him alone with his thoughts. Memories of happier times with Pumpkin played through his mind, mingling with the arguments and misunderstandings that had driven a wedge between them. He found himself at a small roadside motel, the neon sign flickering in the darkness. Checking in, he carried his suitcase to the room, the weight of his decision pressing down on him even more. The room was small and unremarkable, but it offered a place to rest, a temporary refuge from the storm. Sitting on the bed, Josh pulled out his phone and stared at the photo of Pumpkin and Ella on the lock screen. Ella's innocent smile and Pumpkin's loving gaze filled him with a sense of longing and regret. He knew he couldn't stay away forever. He needed to find a way to fix things for the sake of his family. Over the next few days, Josh spent his time reflecting on their relationship. He remembered how they had met, the laughter they had shared, and the dreams they had built together. But he also couldn't ignore the recent years of tension and resentment. Mama June's addiction and legal issues had turned their lives upside down, and it had taken a toll on everyone. One evening, as he sat by a lake watching the sunset, Josh realized that he couldn't place all the blame on external circumstances. He had his own faults and shortcomings to confront. He had to acknowledge his mistakes and find a way to make amends. Taking out a notebook, he began to write down his thoughts and feelings, trying to sort through the jumble in his mind. He wrote letters to Pumpkin, expressing his love and regret, promising to work on himself and their marriage. The act of writing brought him a sense of clarity and purpose. Back at home, Pumpkin struggled to hold things together. Josh's departure had left a void, and she felt the weight of the responsibility on her shoulders. She tried to stay strong for Ella, putting on a brave face even as she cried herself to sleep at night. Mama June's situation hadn't improved, and the constant drama was a source of stress and frustration. Pumpkin felt torn between supporting her mother and protecting her own family. The strain of it all was overwhelming. Alana Honey Boo Boo Thompson, Pumpkin's younger sister, noticed the change in her sister's demeanor. She had been through her own share of challenges, but seeing Pumpkin so distraught made her heart ache. Pumpkin, you can't keep doing this to yourself, Alana said one evening as they sat in the living room. You need to take care of yourself too. I know, Alana, Pumpkin sighed. But it's hard. Josh left because he needed space, and now I feel like I'm falling apart. Maybe you both needed this time apart, Alana suggested gently. Maybe it's a chance for you to figure out what you really want and need. Pumpkin nodded, appreciating her sister's words. I just hope we can find our way back to each other. In the days that followed, Pumpkin focused on self-care and seeking support from friends and family. She started attending therapy sessions to work through her emotions and gain a better understanding of her own needs and desires. It was a difficult journey, but she knew it was necessary for her well-being and the future of her marriage. Josh's soul-searching journey took him to a small town where he decided to stay for a while. He found work at a local mechanic's shop, keeping his hands busy and his mind focused. The simplicity of the work and the camaraderie with his coworkers provided a sense of stability he had been missing. One afternoon, while grabbing a coffee at a nearby cafe, Josh struck up a conversation with an older man named Hank. Hank was a retired therapist who had a knack for offering insightful advice. As they chatted, Josh found himself opening up about his struggles and the reasons for his departure. Sometimes we need to step away to see things clearly, Hank said, his voice gentle but firm. But remember, running away won't solve anything. You need to confront your problems head on. Josh nodded, appreciating the wisdom in Hank's words. I know. I want to make things right, but I don't know where to start. Start by being honest with yourself and with your wife, Hank advised. Communication is key. If you both love each other, you'll find a way to work through this together. Josh took Hank's words to heart. He knew he couldn't stay away.